Question number 4, Mr. Speaker.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With permission, I will answer questions 4 and 11 together. And to continue the topic, there are regular discussions held with Cabinet colleagues on the potential for new nuclear in Wales. This government is launching Great British Nuclear to support our ambition to ramp up nuclear capacity in the UK to up to 24 gigawatts by 2050. And GBN is actively working with government on access to potential sites for new nuclear projects.
I thank my honourable friend for that answer, and clearly nuclear power has an important part to play in a balanced energy policy to provide energy security. Will he agree with me that Wilfer is an ideal site to not only to continue nuclear power but to expand and beyond? Because the reality is that without improving that site and continuing it, nuclear power has to come to Wales.
I would agree with my honourable friend. Wilver is one of the best sites in this country, if not in Europe, for nuclear power generation due to its optical location and geology. And I'm confident the potential of the site to support our 24 gigawatt target can be utilised. I know it's one that GB Nuclear are very interested in.
Alexander Stafford.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Speaker. Nuclear power is an excellent and much needed source of power, but when demand for energy decreases, that power is often wasted. Has the Minister looked at any new Welsh nuclear power plants producing so-called pink hydrogen at times when electricity demands are low, so we're not wasting that energy?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We recognise the important role of nuclear energy, but also hydrogen in meeting our net zero goals. We're committed to a nuclear future for Wales, and so far this year I've visited the Wilver site and Bangor University's Nuclear Futures Institute. My honourable friend is right to raise the importance of storing energy effectively, and our 2021 hydrogen strategy laid out our intention to explore the use of electricity and heat from nuclear power stations to produce pink hydrogen.
Alan Brock.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I confirm there's not an approved SMR design in the UK yet, so talking of installing SMRs at Wilfer elsewhere is just fantasy.
I think the honourable gentleman referenced SMRs, and I know Great British Nuclear are looking into the importance of those in our future net zero contributions, and there will be sites, I hope, across the United Kingdom.
Blake Drummond.
Question number 5, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Secretary of State was delighted to recently announce 2 successful freeports in Wales, the Celtic Freeport and Anglesey Freeport, which will each be supported by £26 million of government funding. We have regular discussions with Cabinet colleagues on the delivery of the 2 Welsh freeports, which we aim to bring into operation as soon as possible.
Blake Drummond.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've been a keen supporter of the new Solent Port adjoining my Mearn Valley constituency, and I know the economic benefits a Freeport can bring to businesses and workers. Can my honourable friend assure me he's doing everything he can to make sure the 2 Freeport bids in Wales move ahead swiftly to benefit the communities they serve?
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I certainly can. The 2 new Freeports will help to level up North West and South West Wales and bring new high-skilled jobs to successful areas. They'll become drivers of growth and employment in their areas, acting as hubs for regeneration, innovation and global trade. And I understand her desire to see rapid progress, and both the UK and Welsh governments will work closely with the successful bidders to develop their outline business case so we can understand the benefits, costs and the most beneficial intervention options.
Stephen Kinnock.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Celtic Freeport bid is based on floating offshore wind. FLOMIS is a vitally important programme to get the infrastructure ready in the port for the fabrication of the substructures and turbines for floating offshore wind. As the voice of Wales in the Cabinet, what steps is the Secretary of State taking and colleagues with other Cabinet colleagues to secure FLOMIS for maximising the benefits of the Celtic Sea Freeport?
He is absolutely right about that, and he may also be aware of the announcement yesterday over the leasing area within the Celtic Sea for floating offshore wind. But my right honourable friend, Secretary of State, has regular meetings with stakeholders, as do I, over FLOMIS and the necessary infrastructure to bring it into being.
Come to Rob Roberts.
Question number 8, please.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I have regular discussions with Department for Transport colleagues on a wide range of transport matters. Wales receives proportionally greater funding than the rest of Great Britain. In fact, figures from the 2021-22 financial year demonstrate that government funding of the operational railway was 32.1 pence per kilometre travelled in England, 57.3 pence in Scotland and 59.3 pence in Wales.
Rob Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. When I asked the DfT about maintenance funding spent on the Wales route, they told me it gets 4 or 5% of the spending, and it equates to 4% of the network, so it must be fair. The problem is that the figures are based on train miles rather than track length, and the train miles are always lower in Wales because of lack of investment in infrastructure, when the track length is actually 11%, not 4%. Will the Minister make representations to the DfT to increase rail spending proportionately to make it a fairer settlement?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I think he's right to reference investment in rail in North Wales, obviously something that Growth Track 360 have pressed for hard and I've been involved with as he has. Also, the North Wales Transport Commission has recently outlined similar projects, and he'll be aware of the Union Connectivity Review development funding pot that's been available, and also the entry in RNet for North Wales Coast Main Line in relation to line speeds.
Andrew Selou.
Number 9, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Foreign investment created 3,062 jobs over the last year, and with the number of FDI projects also on the rise, it shows that more and more investors are looking to Wales. This is testament to the £52 million we're providing to support 2 new free ports, our commitment to delivering at least 1 investment zone in Wales, and £1 billion we're investing in the next decade to boost the UK's global strengths in semiconductors.
Andrew Selou.
Does the Minister agree that supply chain businesses need a modern functioning road network to keep goods moving efficiently, whether on the M4 or the A55 and elsewhere, and that the failure to commit to this by the Welsh Government is a body blow, according to Road Haulage Association Director Geraint Davies?
I absolutely do, Mr. Speaker. My honourable friend makes an excellent point, and the Welsh Government's response to the roads review is more of a road block, sadly. Their opposition to the M4 Relief Road and other schemes continues to hold the Welsh economy back, and Welsh Government's own impact assessments suggest that the impact of the 20-mile-an-hour default speed limit could be as much as £4.5 billion. So the Welsh Government, I'm afraid, are advertising that Wales is closed for business.
Debney Griffith.
Indeed, Mr. Speaker. The automotive sector contributes significantly to the economy in Wales, including Gestamp in my constituency, where investment in the latest technology to make lighter, tougher bodywork parts contributes to the safety and energy efficiency of vehicles, including new EVs. But with the US and EU offering big incentives to companies to invest in new green technologies, what talks has the Minister had with ministerial colleagues about offering similar incentives to get that investment from those automotive companies to make sure we keep a vibrant automotive sector?
I thank her for that question, and I know it's very important to her and her constituency. I would point her in the direction of growth deals, which have an important role to play here, and regular ongoing discussions that are held with Secretary of State and the Wales Office with other government departments.
Sir Michael Fabricant.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Investment in Wales is also conditional on there being adequate healthcare. Is my honourable friend aware that in Tywyn, on the west coast of Wales, where there is a hospital which was only built about 6 or 7 years ago, it has now closed, and people in that area have to travel many, many miles to get healthcare when it is needed?
Thank you very much for that issue. Clearly, provision of healthcare services in rural areas is one that is often very difficult, but he will be aware of particular challenges in Wales, and especially North Wales, over the availability of safe and accessible healthcare services, and he's right to raise it.
Christina Rees.
Speaker, as a GP, the Minister knows the value of community engagement. Would he ask the Home Secretary to increase investment in policing in Wales to ensure an effective response to tackling crime when bad things happen?
Well, she will be aware that there are more police officers within all the forces in Wales than ever before, and so the government and the Home Office has been investing in the Uplift programme and ensuring that there is a strong police presence across Wales.
Kirsten Oswald.